know, I had Steppin with Marcus J, y'all. We back live from our break taken a minute ago, as I mentioned in that previous segment. As I set it up, as I teased it, of course, we got my sister, the dating pool diva, up in here getting ready to do what we had her do every single month. She comes in on the 4th Monday. Of course, she always makes sure I play her song. I gotta play her song. Gotta play her diva song. Oh my God.
Go ahead, girl. This is me on video.
It is on video.
She wasn't ready to
She's doing little twerkations and stuff. So I don't know if that's the right word, but dating pool diva, it's time for you to get into the Diva Diaries, my sister. What you got?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I got a few things I want to talk about.
Okay.
First off, I wanted to discuss, the Love Revolution forum that we had on the 3rd Saturday of the month, January. And, February was our most recent one. And we talked about emotional intimacy. We talked about, what does it mean to each person. We had people basically go around the room and share, what the word meant to them. So I wanted to see if we could do that here, if you guys could just tell me when you hear the word intimacy, what's the first thing that comes to mind? So I'm going to start with Mr. Carlton Banks.
Intimacy. Intimacy. That's a good question. Well, if you really want to get that deep into it, it's the act of being in love and doing what you can with and for your partner and not knowing what else is going to happen. It's just all about being in the moment of that event. Because again, it doesn't mean sex, it doesn't mean kissing. Something as far as holding the person's hand can be intimate. So it's not all about sex. It could be just about anything, and it's all about that moment.
That's a little bit different than what you told me maybe a couple months ago when we talked about intimacy.
Good memory.
It's been coached on the right thing to say now.
You might refresh me on that conversation. You asked me what general topic. And you want to refresh that. Play the tape. Show the tape.
You say play the tape like I got
play the tape. Play the tape.
2 months ago, whatever.
I'm play the tape.
Oh man. Hey, look
Cut your mic off.
that's between you and her.
The tape is right here.
I don't remember that
It's
conversation.
right here.
Of course you do.
I don't.
Okay.
Why you going to sit there and instigate?
Of course I'm an instigate. That's what I do.
I know. What a bully.
It is what it is.
What a Don King.
Do you remember that show where we talked about intimacy?
I remember, not specifically, but I do know that my brother Carlton Banks, who I've known forever, very rarely will open up like he did just now.
Right.
Like just now, he showed us a little piece of this. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him because so he hides from the camera. He showed us a little bit of a piece of himself, and I'm proud of him for it because normally he likes to hide behind humor. But this time he kept it real. So
Did he keep it real?
He
Just now?
A little bit.
Did he?
A little bit real.
Okay. Well, from my memory of the show where we talk about intimacy, intimacy to him was more a physical act. How you get close sexually with your partner, and it's kind of like everybody else in the room was on the other side of the
He
fence.
specifically made a point just now to eliminate sex specifically from intimacy.
Isn't that interesting?
I'm sorry, we saw you over this way.
We can move on. We don't want to make it too hot.
Close the door here. I told him not to close the door, and he closed the door. Well, that's what I'm taking.
All right, Mr. Tony, I want your opinion on this.
If Carl will give her the mic.
So is it? I will kick you in your mic. So is it emotional intimacy or
It's just the word intimacy. I don't want to buy into anything.
So
yeah,
I mean, intimacy is. I will have to piggyback a little bit on what Carlton said. It's that mental and spiritual connection you have with someone.
Right.
It's, to me, some of it's a little bit has to be physical, because for me, I can't have that connection with you unless I'm physically attracted to you. So I think that is what like differentiates between like, you know, you and your friend, just strictly friend, who have a certain bond, from your mate with whom you have an emotional, spiritual, and physical connection.
Right. Okay. So it's a dynamic of a few different components.
Yeah.
Spiritual, emotional, and physical. Okay. All right. That's why. What do you think? About intimacy. When you think of the word intimacy, what comes to mind?
Actually, I kind of agree somewhat with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
It is, for me, it's a comfort in mind and body, where you feel like anything you do with that person. So again, it can be anything, whether it's holding hands or just talking, or it can be some sort of act where there is some type of, there's this comfort level, and it's comforting.
I like
It just feels like that.
Okay. Mr. Marcus J.
Yeah, that's why I stole a little bit of my thunder there. I definitely like this. Stole a little bit of thunder because of the closeness that you feel with someone that you like more than just like. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it has to do with chemistry. You know, people don't always like to, you know, give chemistry and dopamine and pheromones, all of those things, the validity that I think that they deserve, you know, but I think that it's real. I mean, oftentimes you find yourself in the room with someone and it's like, you can feel them even though they're not touching you. You know what I mean? Like when you look at them and they quick glance at you, and then you get this feeling that comes over you. You know what I mean? Like when you can have a conversation without saying a word with someone that's across the room, there's no greater intimacy than that. And like what Tony mentioned earlier, when you have that kind of feeling with someone that you're attracted to, that's even better. Not necessarily attracted to because you want to have sex with them. I mean, ultimately, let's be real, I mean, we're all adults here. It's going to be some of that going down at some point. But you want it to be more than that, you know. And ladies, and I'm going to take some heat for the next comment, but I'm going to care.
Are you getting crass?
No, I'm not going to get crass. You see me studying because I'm cleaning it up in my head before
You don't
I
really
actually
care?
say it.
Well, you
No,
care. That's why
no.
you're cleaning it up
Well,
in your
actually,
head.
I do care, because what I was going to say is, ladies, if he is upset that you're mad at him, then you got something to work with. You got something to work with. If you mad at him and he cares that you mad at him, you got something to work with. If he don't care that you mad, then
That's your business.
then you know, I mean, now the way he goes about sharing that with you varies from guy to guy. You know, you kind of got to know your guy. You know, he may kind of carry a level of arrogance that will act like he not caring that you mad, but you got to know your guy. If he cares that you mad, there's a level of intimacy there that can be worked with.
I would agree with that. I think my perspective, when I think intimacy, is always emotional first. That emotional and that spiritual connection with the person. Yes, sex is important, the physical component is important, but I think really it doesn't even matter that much in a relationship dynamic if you don't have that emotional level there first. You know, so I think that's what intimacy is. It's that connection that you have with another person. And we talked about this, I think it was October or November Love Revolution, where we talked about soulmates and the connection that you can have with another person or several people is basically on that level of connection that we're talking about. All right, so following up on that particular topic, I want to ask a specific question. If a person you are seeing is emotionally unavailable, should you wait for them to become more available later or move on? So I'm going to go the other side of the room. That's why. What do you think? If a person's emotionally unavailable, should you wait for them to become available or just keep it moving?
It's like therapy, you know? It's like group therapy.
Yes.
That's why I like when we do this, because it really does. It's like group therapy because, you
Don't
know,
touch it,
it's 5 of us in this room and different stages of relationships and things of that sort. And the question that you ask, the questions that you always ask, you know, may be a question that someone else may have had, which is what I'm guessing how you got a lot of, you know, the material for, you know, the Love Revolution and the other things that we do. So when I saw you pause, I was like, yeah, here we go. Here goes the group therapy session, which is what we do in the Love Revolution, which is the reason why I love it so much.
Okay, okay. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
You know, that can cause a problem. That can cause a serious problem in with you and your partner. It's going to depend on how long. For me, I think it would depend on how long I'm in this relationship.
Right.
If I've been in this relationship, maybe something's going on that emotionally he is just not there, and
Right.
maybe that's some understanding on my part, depending on what this problem is. If it's a relationship that I just stepped into and emotionally I can't get you to communicate with me, then I'm most likely going to either confront you about it, and we can make a change about it, we can talk about it. If it's not that important to you and this is the way you are and this is the way I feel, then I'm going to keep it moving.
Okay, all right. That's interesting. What do you think, Ms. Tony?
I mean, I agree with her kind of, but I think to some extent you need to have some resistance, because I am kind of leery of someone who just puts it all out there up front.
Right.
Like, I need you to hold back a little something, because I'm going to hold back something. So if somebody's like, you know, of course I want that honesty, but I want you to be reserved, because, you know, I take my life and my relationships seriously.
Right.
So, you know, depending what your goal is, and at this point in my life, you know, not to say that my goal is to be married, but, you know, I'm just not here just so we can go have dinner and hang out and laugh. I can do that with my friends.
Right.
But for where I would like to be in a relationship ultimately, I need you to be serious about it. So I want you to think about it. I want you to make sure that this is what you want, I'm what you want, and vice versa. And we can build together and become more comfortable with each other, you know, and go from there.
We getting a hit in social media. Yeah, we getting a hit in social media. Michelle K. Saying that she agrees essentially with you as well. So I just wanted to share that.
It's Love Revolution representing.
Yeah, man. I'm glad
Facebook.
we got the Love Resolution people who's holding us down here on, you know, our Steppin Marcus J. Live from the den here at LegacyInternetRadio.com. Time is 5 minutes after 9. We appreciate everybody hanging in there with us tonight as we go through our monthly Diva Diaries segment here. We're probably going to take it to about 9:40-ish tonight, so stay with us. Ain't nothing on TV that's better than listening to us.
I know that's
You know
right.
what I mean? So, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, you know, DVR it and listen to us live so we can get these numbers as well.
That's right.
You know, I Steppin Marcus J. All right, who's up?
Well, I ain't gonna answer the question before you cut me off, because I'm ready to answer the question.
Answer the question.
Man, I was.
You know, when you want sunshine,
Oh,
like,
Yeah, man.
He's
You want to
gonna
get
ask-
hard.
he's
You
gonna
want to
ask
turn up the net
Ask the
food,
question
man.
again, because he don't remember.
No, I do hear the question.
Usually
I'm getting. There's intimacy, but no physical. There's sex, but no emotional connection.
Well, the person is not emotionally available.
They're not
for
emotionally
you.
available. Okay.
Right.
Is the
Maybe
sex
they've
good?
been through some, have some
Sex
trust
good?
issues.
Is the sex good?
I didn't put that in the dynamic.
I'm going to throw that in the dynamic. If the sex is
let's
good,
just say sex.
when the
I'm
question
saying.
comes back
I'm
to
saying.
next month,
I'm gonna say.
you're not going to remember your answer, just like earlier today.
No, I won't be here next month.
Stall. Just get to your
I
point.
won't be here next month.
Get to
See,
your point.
I probably won't be there till next.
See how he stalled?
We gonna
I ain't so. I just said. I'm saying if the
We
sex is
gonna
good,
do this on the soccer field.
bring it. I got a bunch
So,
of
okay,
8-year-olds out there.
apparently in this scenario, you're not pursuing them for anything more than sex because they're emotionally unavailable.
Hey, we done already had that. We done already had
See,
that.
my
He
question.
is
Yeah.
that guy that I'm
In a roundabout way.
He is that guy.
Hey, if no love, okay. Can we have sex?
He is that guy. Walk away.
I can't hate on that perspective. I
Yeah,
can
that's
understand
all
that.
right. That's me staying there in the picture.
Can you kick him in his mic?
Let's not
I'll just take the mic from him.
Please, let's not do that. I don't know the insurance that we got on this room covers. I'm not,
Insurance.
yeah, I'm not sure.
What you think, Marcus? J?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're not emotionally available, then they're going to be challenged.
Right.
They just are, and oftentimes, you get caught up in, those pheromones, or you get caught up in, feeling good,
Right.
and next thing you know, you already in. Everybody can say that they're strong, and I'm not going to allow this to happen, and all of this stuff. You can say all that. All that sounds real good, great, all that, but it doesn't take much for you to catch feelings, and once you catch feelings, you in. And it's going to take somebody to say, you know what, I can't even get down like this no more.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Whether it's him, it's her, him and him, her and her. You know what I'm saying? So my answer to that is, for me, I would have difficulty, but I would never say no.
Right.
Because I'm a passionate person. I'm somebody who, if I see something I like, then I usually take it personally. And so, I can't say that I would never be the person that got caught up. I can't say that.
Well, let me ask you this, and the other people can chime in. What do you think is like a sign that you're in this type of relationship where the person is emotionally unavailable? How do you know that you're in that type of situation?
Oh man,
So you know when to turn around if that's your decision.
It really does depend. It depends. Every situation is different. So, there is no, blueprint for how this is or how this works. My guess is if you're dealing with someone whose behavior is inconsistent, there's got to be a reason for their behavior to be inconsistent, and it ain't just because they're a Gemini.
Right.
Which is what I am.
Wait a minute.
It ain't just because of that.
It could be that.
Maybe it could be. I'm moody as hell, so I came in today in a crappy mood and the lights came on. I was like, yeah, that's just that's how us Geminis roll. But as far as the relationship is concerned, for me, if you're dealing with someone where you just don't know which them you're going to get, there's some sort of emotional imbalance going on. And, it's on you if you're going to deal with it. If you're going to deal with it, then deal with it and shut up. If you're not going to deal with it, then make a move.
Okay.
I think when I start to carry the relationship myself, and I'm talking to myself, we have a problem.
Yeah.
When we are not focused, and I'm the one that's focused, we have a problem.
Right. Communication is definitely a piece of it. What do you think, Carlton Banks? Are you even listening to us?
Trying to call somebody else. I can't multitask and be in the conversation. Marcus is learning the hard way. I can multitask and be in the conversation.
You're emotionally unavailable right now.
Hey,
that's right.
Hey, I'm like that all day.
You got to put me in that. That's what you got.
Yeah, but see, but he knows. I'm multitask.
Again, ain't got nothing to do with me.
She should know from you.
Your intimate relationship right there.
I'm emotionally unattached right now. Can't you tell?
I can tell.
And I still ain't gonna answer the question. I can cut it off.
Oh man.
It's over now. I can treat you so bad, but as long as we good, we can still do it.
Nah, here we go, man. I tell you, never mind.
Hey man.
So you probably was always the emotional unavailable person versus the other person.
Nope, I gave my heart every time.
I have a hard time believing that.
Where's your heart?
Huh?
Where's your heart that you were giving in his life?
Sitting up. That's what it's at.
Just pass the mic to Miss Tony. She has something to say. I can tell.
Tony will
She
kick it.
just holding on to it.
That's a good thing.
You know what?
Ever
She
been in
don't
that
even
type
want to
of
hold the mic.
situation?
You repulsing the ladies over there, Carl.
I am one who knows that I am in control of my happiness. So I'm okay with setting timelines. Of course you want to have that communication, you talk to them, Not necessarily I'm telling them, you gotta do it September 3rd to get yourself together. But if we have talked about it and, you know, we are supposed to be working towards, you know, or at least trying to kind of get through that, and I understand those things take time, but, you know, like I said, if you feel like you're carrying a relationship, like, I'm only going to do that for so long.
Right.
And it's not going to be a really long time. So, you know, because we are adults, and, you know, I get so tired of people using the excuse of, I have a father growing up, so I don't know how to do this, and, you know, I'm not affectionate because of this or that. We're adults, and by now you've seen how it's supposed to be.
Right.
So if you can't bring yourself to at least try to change, and if I'm not worth that to you,
Right.
it's not a hard decision for me, because it's not a hard decision for you.
Right. Well, Mr. Carlton Banks has his hand up.
No,
Oh, okay. Well, I will say this, if the person comes to you and at least says, you know, I've been hurt, I've been through this, that, and the third, that's the beginning of a conversation
Absolutely.
that may start the communication between you two and make you more emotionally connected.
Absolutely, but if 6 months in,
Right.
We still talking
you
about
still,
sex.
yeah.
It's
You
kind
about to
of
get your brain started again.
Right, yeah. I'm not gonna keep doing that. It's just, it's a waste of time. Again, you know, I think that I'm pretty smart, and I associate myself with people pretty smart, and who are pretty smart, and if you don't know at this point in your life what you want to do, then
Yeah.
tell me it's not for one.
That's right. Okay. Well, let's move on from that topic. Thank you very much. You guys were very interesting with your comments and honest.
Ain't no hashtag one
Appreciate
Marcus
that.
J. Everybody, before we move on and transition, I just want everybody to say peace to Carlton Banks. We're losing him right now. We're not going to have him for a while. He's got some engagements that will keep him from us for the foreseeable future, but he will be back later on this spring. So I just wanted to give him an opportunity to say whatever he wants to say.
I'm sorry.
I know I'm going to regret doing that. I know I'm going to regret giving him the mic and say whatever you want. But
I'm not going to talk about going to the bathroom. I'm not going to talk about cutting grass again.
we don't got time for a rant.
I am going to miss being in here for a couple of weeks. Again, I'll be coaching some kids, running up and down the soccer field, cheering. Hopefully, won't pull my hamstring like I did last season and whatnot, because my shoulder still ain't healed. But shout out to Legacy Internet Radio, shout out to Jay Grizzy and the crew, shout out to Enliven Radio. Enliven. Every time I hear it, I really want to say Enliven, cuz. That's what I want to say. Every time I see it, that's what I want to do. I mean, I know he's over there.
You're setting the technical director.
I know.
Legacy Internet Radio.
I'll still need to get him in the clutch though, because I'm gonna ask him a few questions about his dread skins, because you know he always taking a shot at me about my Cowboys when I'm not around and whatnot. So
Yeah, well, it's easy.
yeah, let's see. You know what? And we're gonna talk about your purple.
Aren't
gold.
you leaving? Purple.
Yeah,
What purple?
yeah, that's right.
You don't even know your color.
She's wearing her colors.
I know she's wearing the colors, but I'm just being insulting, calling her a Ravens fan.
Yeah.
Can I get away with this million?
Nobody.
I mean, really.
Nobody got it.
Anyway, as I was saying, I still want to see the tape on how I announced intimacy the last time. I will be emotionally detached for a little while, but I'll still be here in spirit because I can multitask. Honestly, I can.
You know how Steppin, Marcus, J. Everybody. That was my man Carlton Banks.
And I still had more, but he cut me off.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's jump back into the diaries. Peace out, my brother. I'll see you soon. You know, we drinking beer, so just because we not in this room don't mean we don't hang out. So we still gonna hang out soon. They don't have to step with Marcus yet. All right, SY stepping out so she can let Carlton Banks out the door. You were going to Diva. You were going to set up the next section. I was going to do this segment in 2 pieces, but we're going to forego any breaks. We're going to run through all of the stuff that we have here in the Diva Diaries so that we can kind of maintain a nice little schedule for the night. Time is 9:15 p.m. Hang in there with us because we still got some stuff to do. And I always get excited when it's time to do the Diva Diaries. So my sister, what you got, man? What's up?
Well, what I had was a news commentary that I want Miss SY in on. So I'll just do this question from my blog book in the meantime
Okay.
that I was going to discuss later.
Okay.
It is your past holding you back from exploring a future relationship, romantic relationship? If so, what can you do to move past it? So you being married, I don't know if you have a perspective on it, but
I can speak generally.
You can speak generally?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think?
I mean, and obviously, there are going to be situations where the past will hold you back. I can tell you, not firsthand, but from speaking with some of my brothers, they'll tell me, in the dating pool, they're dealing with a lot of sisters who's dealing with the baggage from the last dude. The last dude might have done whatever it was he did, and so they're always expecting all men to be the same. And that's just not fair. Are there certain qualities that are consistent? Probably. But, every single dude is not going to do the same negative things to you.
Right.
And they're not going to do the same positive things to you. So if you're going to engage in a relationship, you'd be wise to make sure that you've gotten through the stuff from the past so that you can move forward. Because if you can't move forward and you're always bringing up stuff that ain't even got nothing to do with me or her, you know what I mean? Feeling the person in a relationship,
right.
then you already, that kind of goes back to when we were talking about being emotionally unavailable. Because you're not, you're still dealing with the other person.
Right.
So.
And that's why I kind of connected that question because they were a little bit related. What do you think, Ms. Tony?
I would say absolutely, but I think that's a good thing because I think too often people find themselves, and that's men and women, in the same relationship they've been in before, just with a different person, because they make those same maybe bad choices, or that person has the same characteristics that they don't want.
Right.
But for whatever reason, they keep ending up in that kind of relationship. And I guess for me, there's just, like, I know what I want. And, a lot of people will tell you, oh, well, you're too picky and this and that. I should be picky.
Right.
Like, I deserve to have what I want, which nobody's perfect. I'm totally aware of that, including myself. But I know what I want, I know what I need, and I should not have to deviate from that just for the sake of saying that I'm in a relationship.
Right. Mr. Videographer, Stephen Sykes, LP, Mr. LP of Ben Live Radio, would you like to get in on this? I know you have interesting perspectives on relationships. Is there something holding you back from exploring a future romantic relationship or a current one?
Well, one of the many mistakes that a lot of people do, and especially men, they may not see it, but they sometimes don't forgive themselves before they go into another relationship. Whether they were abusive to that woman or what have you, and they find that they're having trouble finding peace because ultimately the woman that you're seeking wants to know what happened to your previous relationship. This is a fair question, but they're scared admitting that I did this, and now in the back of their mind, are they always going to hold that against you? So if you have to argue that she's going to think I'm going to hit her, or something like that. So a lot of times there's that issue and forgiveness. And to your point on this, Tony, about being picky, you're right, you should be, because it's your heart, mind, body, soul, spirit that you're sharing. The only problem is that some women use the thing of being picky, I want what I want, as an excuse to have a list of demands and things that are not necessarily right, perfect, things like that. That's unattainable by any man, unless you can draw them that can come to life. So that's what usually happens from time to time.
Well, I like your perspective, but you didn't really answer my question.
I'm sorry.
I said, is there something holding you back?
What held me back?
In a future or a current relationship?
I would say in the past what held me back. Sometimes being a nice guy, people automatically assume that you're weak or you don't have confidence and things like that. It gets on my nerves personally, but that was never an issue. I guess it's just I can't really say that I could think of anything that holding me back. It's sort of just trying to give more people a chance. I would say if anything else, because I'm a little bit I'm not an A-type personality. I'm giving and willing to share, do a whole bunch of different things, but willing to give a chance because I'm coming from, I know it may sound like a woman, but coming from a guy that's constantly being hit in the head, I've stopped, a couple of years ago, I've stopped apologizing for being myself. I've stopped apologizing for being a gentleman. I stopped apologizing. I realize that sometimes some of the things I've done, people may not have understood why or where I'm coming from, because unfortunately women are conditioned for certain things because of what I won't even call them, I call them boys have done. And so now they're coming from a perspective of like, if you ask, I'm not trying to take it out, or I'm just trying to say hi, whatever. That's what happens usually there. So I've learned to ease up and just try to give everybody a chance.
Okay. And I would say that it takes a level of maturity to accept yourself, love yourself, and stop apologizing for being yourself. So that was a good point you made there. With me personally, trust has always been an issue. So I only open up with so much, for a person that I'm getting to know. And it takes a long time for that emotional intimacy thing to kick in for me, because I have to trust you that you have my interest best at heart as I have your interest best at heart. So I think that's probably one of the things that may be holding me back in my relationships. I'm not really sure, but I would say that's probably the one thing.
One of the things you mentioned earlier about emotional intimacy is that you can have a very strong level of emotional intimacy with your female friends and still keep it very platonic. I'm very close to a lot of female friends on a lot of different levels, and there's a level of emotional intimacy. I care, things like that, not just on a friendship level, but I really do care and love them. Not as in a romantic way, things like that, but I still love and care. Even the couple of people that I did date in the past, I care about them because I want to make sure that they're safe doing certain things they went through. So there's a level of emotional intimacy that I try to have for others. And I want people to understand that it's okay to have that with other people. That builds you as a person, that builds you as a human being. I made a comment during the last one, I said, what are you willing to give up in order to gain what you need?
Ms. Tony, has something else? Okay. All right. Well, I wanted Ms. S.Y. to be in on the commentary, but I guess I can fill her in when she returns.
Bring her up to speed.
Bring her up to speed. I know you guys are pretty much into the story of D. Wade and Gabrielle Union and what they've had going on, but I'll just go over a few pointers to remind you of what's going on with those guys. Gabrielle Union.
Here we go.
She cheated with Wade while he was still married, according to my sources. Now, the sources could be incorrect. I viewed some videos from the wife, Slovan Wade, and of course she has her side of things, her perspective, and basically she was saying that he was cheating while they were still legally married. According to the act, she said he basically left her homeless or almost homeless, where she didn't have anywhere to stay, no money, and he didn't take care of the kids. But then later on, custody was awarded to him because of some mix-up, some miscommunication with what time the child was supposed to be picked up or something. So that's that drama on that side of things. And then later on, while Gabrielle Union and Wade are together, he got another girl pregnant. It's not even allegedly, like it's something that's really out there, that he got this other girl pregnant. So that's some of the background on what's going on. And I also reviewed some stuff online. I got this story from ABC.com, ABC News, and it talks about her appearance, Gabrielle Union, on the Arsenio Hall show. And it talks about how she wants a prenup for this marriage. And I'm just wondering, what that's all about. Of course, I have my own feelings about that. Yeah. And I also did some other research on TMZ, and it talks about how they can prove that he got Aja Matir, or however you say her name, pregnant during a time when they were together because they were tweeting on Twitter saying all these loving things about the dog and, you know, how they're happy together at the time when they traced back 9 months, you know, from when she had the baby and they were supposed to be on a break. So, saying all of that, what do you guys think there? What do you think about this whole saga? Who wants to jump in there? Marcus J.
I'll start it off. As far as the prenup, I mean, I was watching Arsenio that night. And so I was watching, and to get in context of what she was saying, she was basically saying, I got my own money. I don't need his money. I don't want his money. And I want a prenup to protect my stuff, just like he should want one to protect his stuff. Because, and she basically said that everything that I was thinking at that moment, you know, I mean, we can sit here, I mean, we do these relationship segments and we do these group therapies and all this kind of stuff because relationships ain't always perfect.
Right.
And sometimes you break up and, you know, we plan for everything else, you know, we get insurance, we get life insurance because eventually we're going to die. We get car insurance, we don't go out looking to have a car accident. Some people go their whole life never having a car accident, but they still got to have insurance.
Right.
And so I can't have insurance for my stuff in case this relationship don't work out. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy to me. That anybody that would be such a, you know, and I'm about as hopeless romantic as it gets when it comes to that kind of stuff. I know there's some people that hear me say that, get the hell out of here. But seriously, I am. If you into somebody, I get the whole I want to be with them forever stuff. But in case you act a damn fool and get on my damn nerves and have to go, I want to have some in case of.
Right.
In case of you acting crazy, also known as a pre-nuptial agreement. So that's what I'll say about that. As far as the infidelity, I don't care about none of that because that's between them. That you know, the prenup I can speak on because that's a general situation that, you know, most people with wealth will at some point have to address, you know, their wealth, whether they're in a relationship or not. You gotta have, there's legal documents for rich people. They ain't got nothing to do with their spouse. You know, you gotta always find a way to protect your money. And so I'll speak on that. As far as the infidelity, I don't care enough to even have an opinion. I've been hearing this story for forever. And honestly, you know, she ain't, you know, she's not, she's got blood on her hands just like he does.
Right.
You know, so for us to sit here and assign blame to him versus her and her versus him, you know, I have my thoughts about it, but you know, I just don't care enough really to be passionate enough. I'm more passionate about saying I don't want to talk about it than I am to actually say it.
Well, you were the first one to raise your hand.
Well, I raised my hand because I wanted to address the prenup thing.
Right.
So.
What do you think, Mr. LP?
I think the prenup is a bunch of BS, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
As much as she was into it, didn't care about sharing all this other stuff, these were not the words of her when they first were quote-unquote being friends, and then before they admitted they were getting together or dating back then. I think it's all because of all what had happened, is that now she decided to listen to some wise counsel from somebody, and she got her head awakened, where she decided to say, okay, I need to get the prenup. That's one.
So are you saying that basically she wants that prenup because she may not be that confident in the relationship itself, the marriage?
Very much so.
Okay.
There's that. I care about the relationship because although I don't think anybody was perfect, at the time I felt that she was one of the women in Hollywood that kind of worked hard to keep herself in the model thing. Except for the last 7 to 8 years, she started being, in my opinion, ratchet. So that
harsh words.
I know very ratchet.
She was being very ratchet, rude, disingenuous, and everything else. And I would last say this is, let this and all this other stuff be a caution to young women, or women period, old, especially young girls. Get your blank together. Do what you want. If you want a business, this, that, I've seen too many times, I've been in recent auditions and doing stuff, they say, oh, I have my kids, I have my husband, I helped him. It's like, now you're past a certain timeline before you can really do something, but you're still trying to be paying your dream at 40, 50, 60 years old. BS. Get what you want, get what you need first. Your education, whatever you gotta do before you start A, having children, and B, even less, getting married and then having children. Because now you don't run into this whole drama of this woman basically was chasing somebody who, for a while, people forget, she was walking 7 steps in front of him and back behind him and all that other BS. Just to prove so she could stay in a relationship. That man proved from the beginning he didn't care. And you stood in him. So now this is what you get.
All right, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I just disagree with prenups because, to me, marriage is supposed to be forever. And yeah, sometimes things do go wrong, but I don't know, to me, that's kind of like get out of jail free card. And I don't know if I would marry somebody who wanted me to sign a prenup, because for me, it's till death, like till death. And I think a lot of people take divorce as the easy way out. We gonna do everything we got to do to make this work. So I'm against prenups. Maybe I would feel differently if I was wealthy, but I don't see that as being a genuine part of an eternal relationship. In response to what you said about women, get yourself together, get your stuff, get your education, get your career in order before you get married and have children. Life doesn't happen that way. So, we can do it all. And I don't believe in, saying, well, I gotta do it, because my life is nothing the way, it doesn't look anything like I wanted it to when I was like 12 years old.
Yes.
Or even when I was 18 years old.
I didn't mean to be offensive.
No, I'm not offended, but I'm just letting you know from a woman's standpoint. I've always been very independent. Not because I wanted to be initially, but because I have to be. So, if love came along before the great career came along, I wasn't going to pass that up just so I could make that money, because there's more to life than that.
No, but don't lose yourself. When I say that comment, I think of you three, honestly, who are on top of all that, despite regardless of their situation. Because I'm saying if those who put themselves aside to get all who they are, just for the sake of getting a man and your children, don't do that, because they do not do your marriage or your children any justice.
I understand that, but you have to look at again, life happens. People. I have a son, and I was not married when I got pregnant.
But you didn't give up yourself.
Right, but the thing is, there are women who married this man and had children with them, and now they're also single parents. So you never know what's going to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Your spouse could be killed or die. You just never know what could happen. With regards to their relationship and the things that he's done, the stuff that she's done, like Mark said, I really don't care about other people's relationships, unless it's somebody that's close to me that I love and care about, and I'm concerned for what happens to them. She's a grown woman. She's smart. But we're all a fool for somebody at some point.
Right.
So, whatever shall come to her, what is going to come to her. But I don't feel sorry for her or anybody else. Again, like I said, even my friends. I'm going to tell you as a friend, like, I think you're being stupid, but it's still on you. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be there for my friends. For her, who's going to be there for her?
The only people I care about in all this situation is the kids. That's all I care about.
True, but they're not your kids. Pray for them.
Okay. Ms. S.Y., are you up to speed, or do you need me to review some things for
looks
you with the
like
story?
we're discussing a prenup that Gabrielle gave to Dwayne, and whether or not this relationship affects me in any way.
Yeah.
Relationship does not affect me in any way. I could care less what these two adults
Right.
are doing. For whatever reason, she's having him sign a prenup. That's your business. If that relationship works for you, then that relationship works for you. She's never seen him balance a checkbook or whatever. Well, if he can't manage his money, that would not be the dude I want to marry in the first place. If he can't manage his pennies,
That's the
really.
way. It's almost like she's planning for
Is
the
that out?
relationship to fail.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
that
You know,
out.
so she's like, okay, well, I know this is gonna happen again, so let me make sure my stuff is secure. So you sign this and I'll say yes. I don't really give a rat's tail. I don't care.
What do you think about prenups in general? Do you think it's a good idea, or does it depend on the situation?
You know, I don't know that it would depend on the situation. If it's that serious, I'm probably not going to get myself involved in it because there's a level of mistrust.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, some people it may be necessary for, and if that's what you got to do to protect your belongings and your things and yourself, then be my guest. But there's always trust issues when somebody has trust issues when it comes up.
Well, I would love to know his response to the whole prenup thing, if he was down for it, or if he was looking like, okay, what's up with this?
Well, when you sign a prenup, if I signed a prenup, does that mean that I'm not only taking yours, you're not taking mine? Neither one of us, or is you're just not taking
most
mine?
different ways that a prenup can be
Yeah.
written. I want to kind of throw a devil's advocate in there. Yeah, monkey wrench, whatever you want to call it. Because prenups, from what I understand about them, they are